Hi everyone. This is Geopolitical Observation. In the last video, we have mentioned that raising and lowering interest rates in the US dollar will abruptly interrupt the development of a developing country. Therefore, the US dollar is also called the root of all evil by some people. So now the world will let the dollar do its evil? Yes and no. Why is that? Okay, let's discuss this issue together in this video. In recent years, no country has been able to come up with a feasible measure to against dollars. Because everyone needs dollars, the country can consume, develop, and even save lives with dollars. Even though Russia is now challenging the United States all day long, and they find Chechnya to fight for them, but they still pay in US dollars. Next, Russia needs US dollars to buy the equipment needed for mining. They can buy through a third country, but still can't do without dollars. At the same time, China subsidizes poor African countries, and the means of payment is also in US dollars. It is precisely because the dollar is so important that the United States can use it to manipulate the fate of many countries around the world. After the Fed raised interest rates, where did these dollars go to the United States? Well, this money was originally released through loans, and when it comes back to the United States and goes to the bank, it will be gone. Not only the dollars from all over the world are returned to the Bank of America, but some of the dollars in the United States will also be returned, so that there will be fewer dollars in the market, and Americans feel that this will curb inflation. Of course, raising interest rates is a process, adding a little today and a little tomorrow. If you increase too much at one time, it may cause serious problems. For example, Americans have less money in their hands to buy commodity, so China's export figures may fall further, and China's companies may also have a harder time. The rest of the world is about the same, so every rate hike on the dollar ends up disturbing the whole world. So if other countries don't want the dollar to go back, is there any way to do it? In fact, this is not difficult. The corresponding countries also can raise interest rates. The interest paid is high, and those dollars put here will make more money, and they may not be returned, or at least they can be returned less. Of course, raising interest rates in some countries is not very useful. For example, Russia recently raised interest rates to 20%. This is a desperate interest rate increase, but it seems to be useless, because everyone doesn't know what to do at all, and just wants to hold the hard currency in hands so as to avoid it cannot be taken out in the future. In addition, raising interest rates will make it very difficult for business owners, because today's businesses are all indebted, and a large part of their monthly cost is the interest paid to the bank. Banks raise interest rates, their operating costs will rise, and exports will be sluggish, making the situation even worse. Since raising interest rates is not a good way out, then is it feasible to cut interest rates? Okay, we will answer this question in the next video. Okay, that's all for today, see you in the next video.